Hello, it's Joe's Plants here, and today we're going to be talking about how to take care of your begonias. And when I say how to take care of begonias, how I take care of my begonias. Now, a lot of people have been asking me and telling me my begonias look beautiful, that you take care of them a lot. Some people say that you can't take care of begonias inside, which is a lie. You can. Now, I'll be explaining how to take care of it from my experience. I'm not a big, like I said in my previous video, I'm not the big expert on taking care of begonias, but this is my experience with them and how I take care of them, and I would like to share that with everybody here. I will be telling you how I take care of my begonias, how I check up on them, and how I know that they're growing fast. So those are the three things we'll be talking about today. Now let's check up on it. I will give you an example right now on the cuttings that I have developed already. So let's check on those. Okay, already. So basically, I have my cuttings here next to me. So we're basically gonna look at them. Now, I've showed you all these before. They're very beautiful, and they're the mother plant of the one I have on top, which I'll put a picture right here. Basically, this cutting I did maybe almost 2 months ago. I want to say 2 months ago, but it's been doing awesome. I have no issues with that. And this one I did the same method with the sphagnum moss. And it's been putting out like absolutely fantastic growth. I love it a lot. This one, and I do have this other one, which I'll push the mother plant right here. This one's been doing amazing. I love it a lot. I have no problems with this one whatsoever, and it's putting out a lot of new growth. Now, the sphagnum moss method station works. Now, it will take some time. Like I said in my previous video, it will take some time for you to see root development. I would say 3 to 4 weeks. Now, when we checked it, it was just 2 weeks. So I'm gonna let this week pass by, and I will check it again to see if there's any development, and I'll give it another week after that. So maybe a month at most for root development. How I take care of my begonias is basically, I'm gonna say it, I'm just gonna say it like the way it is, but it fluctuates. Now, I don't let my begonias dry out. I do not. I think that, for me, I think begonias don't like to dry out, only for the fact that when they dry out, they start flimsing down. And I've had problems with that in the past, where they flimse down. I give them water, and they'll start crisping up, they'll start dying, they'll start losing leaves. I've had that experience in the past. So that's another thing where I take care of my begonias, that I never let it dry out. Never let it. I always make sure that the pot is always moist to a certain degree, not too mushy to the point where it's like soaking, but just like a little bit moist, I would say. Another thing that I've experienced in the past is the lighting. The lighting that I have now is perfect for my begonias, and they're thriving. Well, at least they're doing great in this room. I said the lighting is like a good, it's great lighting. It's not perfect, but it's great lighting. And they're here and they're growing, so that's a good thing. So another thing, begonias do not like to be moved around a lot. I've noticed this between my begonias I had in the past. We moved from our old apartment to our new house, and I started seeing my begonias die very dramatically, only for the fact that they were for me, I feel like they were so used to their conditions at my apartment, and the apartment would fluctuate like here in my room, but I think in the apartment it was more, I would say it would be like at 65 almost to 78 degrees at times in the apartment, and I think it was so used to that. So when we went over to our new house, and our house was pretty much a little bit hot, a little humid, so it'd be from like 72 all the way to like maybe 89 degrees, and it was pretty hot at times. So that's, I think that was another thing where I don't think these begonias were like only for the fact that I had an experience with one that we moved it to our new house. It was like around the 80 degrees, 85, like around there, and started to like crisp up, and I was wondering why. It was moisted, it had light, and all of a sudden it just started like just dying. And I feel like that's another reason why begonias don't like to be moved around. They're so invested in one spot, you know. That's just, these are just my opinions, my thoughts, you know, and it can help some of y'all to determine where y'all gonna put y'all's begonias, because I think they just like to be in a certain area. Just keep them moist. Just give them a good amount of sun. These begonias get at least from morning sun to maybe some of afternoon sun, so it gets a good enough of light. Now another thing, I do not fertilize my begonias. My boyfriend has recommended me to fertilize my begonias, but I feel like they're just as fine without it. But I do understand that they need fertilizer. Every plant needs fertilizer. Now the lighting is one of the things you should be worried about. Lighting, I usually get from morning sun to afternoon sun on this window. I know David gets, I think, all day sun. So he gets morning, afternoon, and then he gets evening. So he's pretty much good on that. I just get morning and then afternoon, and that's pretty much it on mine. But begonias, I don't recommend putting begonias in direct. You don't want to put them in direct sun. In fact, that will start crisping up, and you don't want that for your begonia. You can possibly put it for your cuttings, as long as you have something covering the barrier which you're using, like these. You can use these. These are completely fine, but if you're putting it directly in sun, have something that can like cover up the rays a little bit of the sun, so it won't damage your plants inside your little propagation station. What we used to do back then, we used to buy these little frosters, like a spray can. We'll put it. I used to put it on my little propagation station thingy on the top, so it'll be like almost like an actual greenhouse with not direct sun, but just very like a good amount of light, basically. So it's not very direct. Also, this also goes under the begonia cutting propagation section. When you're doing begonia propagations, when you have your roots already developed, I prefer to keep your soil moisted for the first week or two. Now this is one thing many people have discussed this before, and me and my boyfriend have discussed this as well. When you're doing cuttings in water, it's gonna be fast. Maybe like in a week or two, you'll see roots. Now you can do that. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. Just whenever they get roots, you take the begonia out, place it in soil. Automatically for the first week or two, keep that soil moisted at all times. Never let it dry out, not even for a bit. Leave it moisted at all times. Now this is the difference between water propagation and sphagnum moss propagation. Sphagnum moss propagation is pretty much in between. So basically, when I say in between, like I said in my video before, when you do a cutting, you can either put it straight to the soil. It's not effective unless maybe you have air circulation and you have a good amount of water inside the soil. You can do that, but you just got to make sure you just be on top of that, where it has air circulation and it has good amount of water. But you will start to see flimsiness. You will start to see like very squishy leaves, and that's a sign that it's not really working. Now in this instance, in this cuttings, it is different between these. Now squishy leaves can mean many things, but when it's water propagation, I think it's the sign of a failed propagation. Now if it's sphagnum moss, it's different, because sphagnum moss, it's between soil and water. So basically it's in between. It's easier to transfer them into soil rather than having them in water to soil. So sphagnum moss is pretty much easy. Like I say, you put the cutting inside the sphagnum moss, give it a couple weeks, let it get their roots, take them out, put it straight to the dirt, and just keep that soil moisted for the first 2 weeks. Now it's pretty crucial you leave it moisted. You can, I know there's pots out there that are self-watering. I know there was a company that was putting that out there, so self-watering pot. You can have one of those, or you could just be like me. I usually wake up in the mornings. The first day I come is check on my plants, make sure they are watered throughout their time. Now I do check on them like after a day or two, maybe 3 days, and to make sure they're not going fully dry. That's for me. My plants, I do not let them dry out, not at all. This one was by accident. If there's anything that I missed, you can please leave it in the comment section below if there's any issues that y'all have. Now I do prefer y'all to do the spag moss method. It's the most effective way for me in my experience, and I would like for y'all to try it out as well to see if it works out for y'all as well. And it works for every cutting, like I said. Also, the water type. So what I'm usually using to water my plants, I'm using fish tank water, and only for the fact that if I use regular like tap water, it has a lot of chemicals, and begonias are more sensitive with the chemicals inside the tap water rather than some inside the fish tank. And that's what I've been using to water my begonias, and they've been thriving. They've been amazing. You know, this is all just from fish tank water. Amazing. I do not suggest to use tap water. It will completely damage your begonia. I don't suggest it. It's just gonna kill it right away. After like a day or two, it's just gonna start to crisp up. You're gonna start to see it flimsing. You're gonna start to see it just like completely just die. I don't prefer tap water at all. Alrighty guys, now that's pretty much the end of the video. If there's, like I said, there's some things I'm forgetting. Leave it down in the comment section below. And like I said, this is my experience, my opinions, my thoughts, and I wanted to like let y'all know. I wanted to share. I know there's some people that are gonna disagree with what I'm saying. Some people are gonna say like, what am I talking about? But just from my experience, my opinions, and my thoughts. And I appreciate everybody out there that's been giving me the support lately from YouTube. I'm without words, guys. Thank you so much. I couldn't do this without y'all. You're on my plant family. I'm glad to have y'all as, you know, a member of my family. And I can't wait to get more people like y'all on this channel, and we could talk about plants all day. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.